Welcome to the No Views News. This program was created on Monday, January 3rd, at 3:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, by Zeno Reader. There are 573 headlines from 106 feeds we check to build this automated report. Welcome to No Views, daily automated podcast news. The headlines in this super unknown daily news summary do not imply fact-checking or endorsement of ideas. The first headlines are from the current most popular news site, Yahoo News, with 175 million estimated monthly unique visitors. Hezbollah leader launches verbal attack against Saudi king. Winter storm and heavy snow blanket U.S. Capitol. NASA's new space telescope hunky-dory after problems fixed. Way too much testing. Fox News host starts 2022 with unhinged COVID rant. Rep. Liz Cheney says Trump sat in the White House dining room and watched the Capitol riot unfold on TV instead of taking immediate action to stop the violence. Marjorie Taylor Greene suspended from Facebook hours after Twitter ban. Newborn baby found in toilet bin of Air Mauritius plane. Donald Jr. and Ivanka Trump refuse to comply with subpoena from NY Attorney General. This is your Asian family, wine-holding woman calls her Asian kids during racist rant in Las Vegas. Ghislaine Maxwell won't flip on others who enable Jeffrey Epstein's abuse in a bid to secure a shorter prison term, her brother says. The next headlines are from the second most popular news website at this time, with 150 million unique monthly visitors, Google News. Schumer says Senate will vote by January 17 on changing rules if GOP continues to block voting rights legislation, The Washington Post. FDA authorizes coronavirus vaccine boosters for 12 to 15-year-olds as schools reopen amid Omicron surge, The Washington Post. Jurors in Elizabeth Holmes' trial appear deadlocked on some charges, The New York Times. Apple becomes first company to hit $3 trillion market value, The New York Times. Ken Levine's ambitious new game is reportedly in development hell, The Verge. Prince Andrew accuser Virginia Roberts Giuffre's 2009 settlement with Jeffrey Epstein released, CNN. Stocks rise and Tesla surges as a new trading year begins, Barron's. DeSantis calls for states to be allowed to buy monoclonal antibody treatments, The Hill. New Hampshire Secretary of State Bill Gardner makes announcement, WMUR Manchester. Vax, sheep and goats form a giant needle to encourage people to get the jab, coronavirus updates, NPR. The following headlines are from the third most popular news website, with 110 million unique monthly visitors, The Huffington Post. Marjorie Taylor Greene loses access to Facebook one day after Twitter ban. Janet Jackson speaks out about Michael Jackson's child molestation charges. Days before January 6th anniversary, Trump endorses Hungary's autocracy. Curious Orb. Settlement between Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew accuser now public. Harry Potter reunion accidentally mixes up Emma Watson with another famous Emma. NY Attorney General subpoenas Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump Jr. Chuck Schumer threatens filibuster changes if GOP blocks voting rights bills again. AT&T, Verizon reject U.S. request to delay 5G wireless plans. Halle Berry sets record straight about marrying Van Hunt after New Year's Day joke. FDA approves COVID-19 booster shots for 12 to 15-year-olds. The next headlines are from the fourth most popular news website, with 95 million estimated unique monthly visitors, CNN. 10-year-old speaks after being hit by falling bullet. Officer violently attacked, drugged by car. Teen girl shot, killed at Burger King. Woman unresponsive after flu diagnosis. Peterson to ask for conviction to be overturned. Man killed in house fire caused by heater. Schools go remote due to lack of transportation. Residents rep 20.22 miles for New Year. Search for missing boater underway. 87 acres deemed state wildlife conservation area. The next headlines are from the fifth most popular news website at this time, with 70 million estimated unique monthly visitors, the New York Times. More people are getting unapproved fourth doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Kathy Hochul will propose term limits for New York governors. Jurors in Elizabeth Holmes' trial appear deadlocked on some charges. Business updates, return to office plans are being revised again. Omicron disrupts major school systems across U.S. U.S. struggles to avoid widespread disruptions as Omicron spreads. Book review, Fiona and Jane, by Jean Chen-Ho. The FDA clears booster shots for 12 to 15-year-olds. South Africa Parliament, suspects charged in fire to appear in court. Victim of Berkeley balcony collapse dies in Ireland. The following headlines are from the sixth most popular news website, with an estimated 65 million monthly unique visitors, Fox News. Tennessee Titans player involved in Walgreens altercation that left 2 employees injured, police say. Howard Stern slams Oprah Winfrey for hosting dinner parties amid COVID surge, I don't want to get sick. DeSantis jokes about Dems from strict COVID states visiting Florida after AOC spotted maskless in Miami. House Republicans say Capitol is no safer a year after January 6 attacks, slam Democrat for partisan probe. COVID-19 spread in the U.S., how Omicron impacts each state by population. Betty White remembered by Golden Palace co-star Don Cheadle. Governor DeSantis on media criticism he was MIA in December, I guess I should have been at the beach in Delaware. New York teacher arrested for injecting teen with COVID vaccine, report. Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump subpoenaed by NY Attorney General in Trump Organization probe. Despite the democracy fears, more Americans accept Biden's election than they did Trump's 4 years ago. You are hearing today's top news headlines and more. Today is Monday, January 3rd. The next headlines are from the 8th most popular news website, with an estimated 53 million monthly unique visitors, Mail Online, the Daily Mail. Moment mannequin is beheaded in Afghan store after being declared offensive to Islam. Eccentric French TV star twins both die of COVID within a week, age 72. Nature, world's rarest marsupial back from the brink of extinction, thanks to the Duke of Edinburgh. Boy, 8, is given police warning after student, 21, had her skirt lifted. Team of 9 black climbers attempt to scale Mount Everest to tackle the sport's colonial history. COVID tracking scientists in France spot another variant. NYC man, 28, killed after jumping turnstile at Queen Station and cracking head on floor. Biden boards Air Force One in the snow as Jen Psaki cancels press briefing. Family of murdered Ollie Stevens, 13, hold memorial service to mark first anniversary of his death. Farmers blast Ed Sheeran's well-meaning plan to rewild as much of UK as he can. The following headlines are from the 9th most popular news website, with an estimated 47 million monthly unique visitors, The Washington Post. This is the Washington Post World News Feed. Haiti PM flees under gunfire as Haiti rings in New Year. British PM, health service under strain, but no new measures. Brazil's Bolsonaro hospitalized with abdominal pain, floats possibility of surgery. Israel now offering 4th COVID shot to anyone 60 and older. In coronavirus at Mexico, many women are determined to not have babies. Man who fled to North Korea is a likely previous defector to South Korea, authorities say. UAE requires coronavirus booster shots for citizens seeking to travel abroad. Explainer, what's next after resignation of Sudan's PM? Fighting intensifies in eastern Colombia, at least 16 killed. The next headlines are from the 10th most popular news website, which has an estimated 42 million monthly unique visitors, The Guardian. This is The Guardian's U.S. news feed. 5 of world's most powerful nations pledge to avoid nuclear war. Manchester United 0-1 Wolves, Premier League, as it happened. US twins delivered just minutes apart end up being born in 2 different years. Theranos jury returns to deliberations after deadlocking on 3 counts. COVID hive news, Ontario announces new curbs after tsunami of infections, Scottish Parliament to be recalled. Prince Andrew accuser Virginia Giuffre's legal deal with Jeffrey Epstein released. Michaela Schifrin returns to World Cup after recovering from bout with COVID. Scientists raise alarm as deforestation jumps in Brazil's Cerrado. U.S. travelers face flight amid cancellations from storms and pandemic. New York Attorney General subpoenas Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump, report. The following headlines are from the 12th most popular news website, with an estimated 36 million monthly unique visitors, ABC News. Elizabeth Holmes trial jury unable to come to a unanimous verdict on 3 counts. 2 missing in huge Colorado fire as investigation continues. Holmes jury to resume deliberations after holiday break. Prosecutor, woman admitted shooting off-duty Cleveland cop. Report paints grim picture of Chicago area gun deaths. Brazilian President Bolsonaro hospitalized in Sao Paulo. Winter storm hits East Coast, brings major snowfall to mid-Atlantic in the southeast. Eldest Trump children won't comply with subpoenas from New York Attorney General. College students rescue dog from avalanche. Watch, koala wows caregivers by using a spoon to feed himself. The next headlines are from the 13th most popular news website, with an estimated 35 million monthly unique visitors, the BBC News. Prince Andrew accusers deal with Epstein released. South Africa's parliament building on fire again. David Bowie, singer's estate sells rights to his entire body of work to WCM. South Africa Parliament fire flares up again. COVID-19, French MPs get death threats over support for vaccine pass. Sudan coup, Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok resigns after mass protests. Richard Leakey, fossil expert, conservationist and politician. Brazil's Bolsonaro in hospital with intestinal blockage. Turkey's inflation hits 36% amid financial turmoil. Israeli photographer captures unique bird spoon image. The following headlines are from the 14th most popular news website, with an estimated 34 million monthly unique visitors, USA Today. After Oxford school shooting, Michigan district will require clear backpacks for some students. COVID-19 shows marginalization has a price, for transgender adults, it's food insecurity. Winter storm dumps heavy snow along East Coast, snarling travel and closing schools. Fierce winter storm lashes south, mid-Atlantic with heavy snow, wind, nearly 850,000 without power. High demand for 24-hour virus testing in Milwaukee. Biden returns to Washington in snowstorm. Supply chain, new normal, people want these phrases banished in 2022. Cruise off Portugal cut short after COVID outbreak. Equivalent to 30 tons of TNT, meteor explodes in Pennsylvania on New Year's Day. The next headlines are from the 15th most popular news website, with an estimated 35.5 million monthly unique visitors, the LA Times. California lawmakers may stop tying K-12 schools funding to daily attendance. Harley Rauda opts out of battle with fellow Democrat Katie Porter for Orange County congressional seat. What's being done to keep kids safe as schools reopen during Omicron surge? How safe are indoor gyms during Omicron surge? What experts say. San Francisco confronts a crime wave unusual among U.S. cities. Homicides rising in Watts, but residents say violence far from the only story. LA has a new plan for creating more housing. An AIDS nonprofit wants it thrown out. Podcast, what's the LA Times going to do in 2022? Should police arrest sex workers for standing around? Thorny question lands on Newsom's desk. Even in a hot market, LA won't allow rent hikes for most tenants until 2023. We hope you are enjoying this news podcast. Today is Monday, January 3rd, 2022. You just heard from the top 15 most popular news websites in the world. More from other news sources is up next. Next, Reddit World News. Reddit is a user collective which claims over 430 million active users per month, and these are the top voted stories today. Tesla is opening a store in Xinjiang, where China is accused of orchestrating a genocide, and where Apple and Google have faced pressure to stay away from. Harry Potter star Emma Watson shows support for Palestinians in Instagram post. COVID warning as new variant with 46 mutations infects 12 in southern France. Israel's Mossad bombed German, Swiss firms to stop Pakistan nukes. Mexico's president says he asked U.S. to pardon Julian Assange. COVID-19, French MPs get death threats over support for vaccine pass that would bar the unvaccinated from much of public life. 6 French police officers will appear in disciplinary hearings January 4th accused of administrative failings in the gruesome case of Chahinez Daoud, who was killed by her husband last May. Daoud was one of 113 femicides in France in 2021. Iran's Raisi says Trump must face justice for Soleimani killing. Soleimani assassination news. Niger police seize more than 200 kilograms of cocaine from mayor's truck. Russian jets knock out water supply in Syria's Idlib. Russian warplanes have bombed a pumping station that provides water to rebel-controlled Idlib city in northwestern Syria, potentially depriving hundreds of thousands of people in the overcrowded city of water. No one can win a nuclear war, superpowers release rare joint statement. 2022 will see intense effort to paint Israel as an apartheid state, says Israel's Foreign Minister Lapid. Iran vows revenge for Soleimani killing if Trump not put on trial. U.S. catches Kremlin insider who may have secrets of 2016 hack. Hong Kong Free Press faces collapse as second news site announces closure. The next headlines are from Forbes. Over a third of NBA coaches sidelined by COVID-19. Apple becomes first company worth $3 trillion, greater than the GDP of the UK. Facebook suspends Marjorie Taylor Greene after permanent Twitter ban, she says. Daryl Dike joins West Bromwich Albion, poised for Premier League push. Elizabeth Holmes jury deadlocked on 3 of 11 counts. Grammy Awards likely postponed again because of COVID-19, report says. Florida demands 30,000 COVID-19 antibody doses as hospitals across U.S. scramble to secure life-saving treatment. Should Nordstrom join in retail spin-out frenzy? Yellow Jackets Episode 8 review, a stellar episode with one big problem. Schumer threatens vote on filibuster changes over blocked voting rights reform. The next headlines are from Nature.com. Molecular biologists, let's reconnect with nature. 2 years of COVID-19 in Africa, lessons for the world. The World Population Update. Currently, we are increasing by over 220,000 people a day, expecting to reach 8 billion in 2023. At the time this report was generated, the population was estimated to be 7,755,350,827 humans. Worldometers.info says there are 195 countries at this time and, of those, the top 10 with the largest populations are, in order, China, India, the United States, Indonesia, Pakistan, Brazil, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, and then Mexico. The next headlines are from Variety. French box office pulled $731 million in 2021, led by Hollywood and French movie franchises. Finding empathy for characters beyond media headlines and impeachment, The Hot Zone, Anthrax, Colin in Black and White. Anita Inc.'s global deal with Sony Music Publishing. 2022 BAFTA Awards longlist predictions, No Time to Bet against James Bond or Kenneth Branagh's Belfast. Denzel Washington has 2 Oscars but 0 BAFTA nominations. Will he nab his first for the tragedy of Macbeth? The 40 most anticipated new TV shows of 2022. Peekaboo Street among Olympians profiled in new Peacock documentaries streaming prior to the Winter Games exclusive. Brian Cox, Audra McDonald and more Critics' Choice TV nominees are seasoned pros shining in new series. Critics' Choice Foreign Language nominees give voice to global protests. Power of the Dog fits this edgy era. The following headlines are from NPR, National Public Radio. New Hampshire's longtime guardian of its early presidential primary is stepping down. If you're clinging to an old BlackBerry, it will officially stop working on January 4th. 2022 will be a 10th year for Facebook and social apps. Here are 4 reasons why. 700 sheep and goats were arranged in the shape of a needle to encourage vaccinations. New York's Attorney General has subpoenaed Ivanka Trump and Donald Trump Jr. Schumer tees up vote on rules change if voting rights legislation is blocked. A hockey fan spotted a staffer's suspicious mole from the stands, saving his life. Fire reignites at South Africa's parliament in Cape Town. A federal court just released a settlement deal between Epstein and Jeffrey. Famed fossil hunter and conservationist Richard Leakey dies at 77. The following headlines are from The Week. Snowstorm leaves 500,000 without power in Maryland and Virginia. Apple becomes first U.S. company to hit $3 trillion market cap. Kanye West dating actress Julia Fox. The Capitol riots shifting sense of blame. Biden takes action to combat high-priced meat. Maybe that isn't a good thing. White House pledges $1 billion to bolster independent meat producers and drive down prices. Classic BlackBerry devices will stop working normally on January 4th. Another Hong Kong news site shutters amid ongoing crackdown by Beijing. FDA backs Pfizer COVID booster for 12 to 15-year-olds. The following headlines are from the Texas Observer. A boom of strip club lawsuits in Texas. These are the news headlines for today, Monday, January 3rd. This podcast is produced only in English at this time. As of 2020, the Ethnologue reference lists 7,117 different human languages, with English being the third most common, after Mandarin Chinese and Spanish. The next news is from Politico. Hundreds of House districts are being redrawn. Here's who's winning and losing. Why are countries cutting quarantine as Omicron cases explode? Capitol physician urging remote work amidst unprecedented explosion of COVID cases. Iran nuclear talks resume, but time is running out to strike a deal. Longtime New Hampshire Secretary of State retiring. New York Attorney General issued subpoenas to Ivanka, Don Jr. MTG hit with Facebook's suspension after Twitter ban. Capitol Police Union douses private security proposal. Schumer tries to jumpstart Dems with rules change threat. Trump endorses Hungary's Orban for re-election. The next headlines are from the Sydney Morning Herald in Australia. Highly unusual, why the Elizabeth Holmes trial is dragging on. The unlikely star of Netflix's Don't Look Up, false teeth. Epstein's Jeffrey deal made public as part of Prince Andrew's civil suit. Wall Street makes positive start to 2022, Tesla soars. Are natural deodorants better? Trump, Ivanka and Don Jr. subpoenaed by NY Attorney General in tax case. I've made a promise to my children, I'm going to learn to swim. 3 things England must do in Sydney to salvage pride. Australian Open looms, but it doesn't have to be a COVID-19 disaster. Nurses are in despair as staffing shortages bite in NSW hospitals. The next headlines are from MarketWatch. Outside the box, the U.S. is falling behind in fighting cybercriminals. Here's what has to change. Market snapshot, Nasdaq leads major stock indexes higher in 2022's first session, with Tesla shares rallying. The margin, where is the market headed in 2022? Here's what two professional mind readers say. FA Center, selling money-making stocks in a bull market is a tough call, but you'll thank yourself when the bears take charge. Biden, Harris to speak on anniversary of January 6 attack on U.S. Capitol. Tesla shares rocket more than $130 per share on good news about deliveries. Futures movers, oil ends higher to kick off the new year after biggest annual rise since 2009. Biden offering $1 billion in aid for small meat producers, citing textbook lack of industry competition. Chipotle launches its own plant-based chorizo for a limited time. Keywords, AMC CEO Adam Aron's New Year's resolution, refinance debt at lower rates. Next, the top stories about patents and inventions. RNA Patent and Competitive Landscape, 2021 Year in Review and 2022 Outlook, J.D. Supra. NRX Pharmaceuticals files provisional patent for stable compositions of Aviptidil suitable for human use, Yahoo Finance. Key metrics for analyzing intellectual property performance, intellectual property, Luxembourg, Mondac News alerts. Use margin rights to prevent prostate cancer drug price gouging, STAT. Can you patent an idea? Get the facts, intellectual property, Luxembourg, Mondac News alerts. Acacia Research announces patent licensing agreement on Wi-Fi 6 technology with Samsung, intellectual property, India, Mondac News alerts. Amendment to German Patent Act, key highlights, Lexology. Patent filings in Andhra Pradesh record 50% growth, Times of India. From robots to helmets for itchy noses, inventions inspired by COVID-19, The Straits Times. Pondicherry University's Associate Professor granted 2 patents, The Hindu. The next headlines are from Quartz. Your old BlackBerry will stop working on January 4th. The economy in 2022. Germany's exit from nuclear energy will make its power dirtier and more expensive. What inflation will look like in 2022. The wild cards that could shock the economy in 2022. What to expect from the pandemic in 2022. Who will pay the tab for climate change in 2022? Workers won't have as much leverage over their employers in 2022. Why supply chain woes will ease in 2022. Can Evergrande make it through another year? The following headlines are from Tech Dirt. U.S. courts realizing they have a Judge Allen Albright-sized problem in Waco. Boston Police Department used forfeiture funds to hide purchase of surveillance tech from city reps. Daily Deal, the ultimate Microsoft Excel training bundle. NY Senator proposes ridiculously unconstitutional social media law that is the mirror opposite of equally unconstitutional laws in Florida and Texas. Telecom monopolies are exploiting crappy U.S. broadband maps to block community broadband grant requests. Funniest most insightful comments of 2021 at TechDirt. We are now about 1/3 of the way through this daily news headlines podcast, a free service. Here, next, are the top trending keywords in Google web searches for today, a different window on world events. Man United vs. Wolves. NFL playoff picture. Dominion Energy. Lakers. AB. Big Daddy Weave. TSLA. Snake. School closings. Quadrantics meteor showers. The next headlines are from Zero Hedge. The Great Rotation. Bronveen releases 10 surprises for 2022, stock slump, gold jumps, Green New Deal goes nowhere. Elizabeth Holmes' trial deadlocked on 3 counts, judge tells jurors, keep deliberating. Israel's Jerusalem Post hacked, site replaced with pro-Iran threat of annihilation. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele predicts 2 more countries will make Bitcoin legal tender in 2022. Apple tops $3 trillion market cap, bigger than Britain's GDP. Gartman, no question the bear market hits this year, stocks will drop 10-15%. New COVID-19 variant with 46 mutations discovered in southern France. Tick, 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 the Supreme Court readies an explosive docket for 2022. FDA approves Pfizer booster for 12-15-year-olds, dismisses risk of mild heart inflammation. The following headlines are from Al Jazeera, Middle East News. Schools in the U.S. delay reopening amid rapid spread of Omicron. NY Attorney General subpoenas Trump, Ivanka and Donald Jr. Fairness trial, Holmes jurors told to work through impasse. Settlement between Prince Andrew accuser and Epstein made public. French MPs debate COVID vaccine pass, denounce death threats. COVID outbreak, Indigenous community urges Canada to send an army. Apple becomes first company to reach $3 trillion market value. Turkey's Erdogan says he will visit Saudi Arabia in February. Colorado fires, to remain missing as survivors inspect the damage. Fire at South Africa's parliament flares up again. The next headlines are from Breitbart. Ron DeSantis to critics who accused him of vacationing during wife's cancer treatments, I guess I should have been at the beach in Delaware. Mike Pence asks Supreme Court to halt OSHA vaccine mandate, America is about freedom. Dem Rep Lou, democracy itself is on the ballot in 2022 midterms. DeSantis, Biden administration has cornered the entire market for life-saving coronavirus treatment. Nolte, Spielberg's woke side story is a bigger flop than Cats. Breitbart News Daily Podcast Ep 42, New Year, New Baby, Alex makes a big announcement, guests, Rep Matt Gaetz on the threat of the Department of Justice, Francis Mardell on the WHO and CCP. Carney, real construction spending is falling in age of Bidenflation. Top bureaucrat blames rising food prices on China for hoarding food stocks. Patton Oswalt defends performing with Dave Chappelle after woke backlash. Vatican newspaper ruse expensive climate calamities of 2021. The next headlines are from UPI News. Minnesota brothers break own Guinness record for flying disc catches. Watch, Louisiana man wrangle alligator spotted under parked car. The following headlines are from goodnewsnetwork.org. Scientists digitally unwrap mummy of Pharaoh Amenhotep, while leaving 3,000 years artifact untouched. Additional reasons electric vehicles are green, according to Yale researchers. Chinese method to growing veggies year-round in frigid Canada without any heating costs. 7 lost artistic masterpieces that were found in 2021. Hugh Jackman is the best, watch him become Wolverine for a fan ride into his phone. The small victories that make a huge difference in our daily lives. Families spend Christmas Eve rescuing 6 elk trapped in frozen river after falling through ice. Look. Watch 2 cats experience snow for the first time, adorably shaking their paws with each step. You're tuned to No Views, daily automated podcast news. This is a report for Monday, January 3rd. Thank you for listening. The next headlines are from Reddit Offbeat News. Strained at the limit of human possibility during the Christmas season, veteran ham sniffer Manuel Vega Dominguez whiffs 800 ham loins a day. Holy cow, video shows large bovine charging at CHP officer on rural NorCal Road. Little Caesars hot and ready pizza no longer costs $5. Man blows up his Tesla rather than paying $22K to repair it. Southernmost Point boy damaged by flaming Christmas tree, Key West police say. Christians point to genetics breakthroughs to show Adam and Eve are not incompatible with evolution. Monster crab attacks Australian golfers on Christmas Island. Teen reunited with pet rooster lost at Alabama Cracker Barrel after Civil War reenactment. What is flurona? Israel reports first case of double COVID and flu infection. Is it a new variant? The next headlines are from a site called The Next Web. A Hyundai is now an air purifier, and 3 other ways car parts are getting a second life. Samsung's fantastic solar remote can now charge using radio waves. What? Fingers crossed, the AirPods Pro 2 could deliver sweet lossless audio to your ear holes. Don't let shrinkflation affect your software development. The following headlines are from Science Daily. COVID-19 patients have severely increased levels of oxidative stress and oxidant damage, and glutathione deficiency, study finds. New method to complete genetic data. More insight into how vision works. Study finds reduced microbial diversity in guts of wild bears that eat human food. Snapshots from the quantum world. 3D semiconductor particles offer 2D properties. Neuroprotective mechanism altered by Alzheimer's disease risk genes. Researchers identify biomarker for depression, antidepressant response. Self-healing nanomaterials usable in solar panels and other electronic devices. The next headlines are from Information Week. Reliance on cloud requires greater resilience among providers. Combating ransomware for a new era of work. This is a reading of news headlines. This broadcast was created on Monday, January 3rd from over 100 sources, to give you a bigger picture of the news. The next headlines are from Slashdot, Tech News for Nerds. Samsung is putting NFTs in its smart TVs. When they warn of rare disorders, these prenatal tests are usually wrong. Apple becomes first U.S. company to reach $3 trillion market cap. Mozilla founder slams Mozilla Foundation for adopting cryptocurrency payments. Instant delivery startups test a new tactic, slower delivery. YouTuber figured out Asus Z690 Hero motherboards melted down due to backward capacitor. Morgan Stanley to pay $60 million to settle data breach claims. OpenSea freezes $2.20 m of stolen Bored Apes. Climate scientists grapple with wildfire disaster in their backyard. The next headlines are from Fox St. Louis. Illinois seeing all-time record number of COVID cases, hospitalization surging. Pandemic Task Force reports 216% increase in COVID hospitalizations from Thanksgiving to New Year's Day. Man wanted for shooting ex-girlfriend, her mom in North St. Louis, police say. The war on Christmas lights, half of Americans judge neighbors for keeping decorations up too long. St. Louis woman charged in deadly hit-and-run crash. Unseasonably cold January weather continues for much of the workweek across St. Louis. St. Louis driver charged in deadly street racing crash. Homeowners encouraged to winterize pipes as sub-freezing temperatures set in. Missouri GOP fears over proposed congressional maps, we are in trouble as a red state. Over 10 flights in and out of Lambert canceled and delayed today. These are the current headlines from the world's most interesting news websites. Thank you for listening. The next headlines are from Fox San Diego. Local leaders visit busy COVID testing site, urged to remain cautious. More rain and snow head toward Northern California. More than 2K schools closing over COVID concerns in first week of 2022. NFL finale is showdown for playoffs, Chargers at Raiders. COVID hospitalizations in county up over holiday weekend. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin tests positive for COVID. FDA authorizes COVID-19 boosters for 12 to 15-year-olds. These 4 individuals are absolutely heroes, El Cajon plane crash victims honored with candlelight vigil. Ashley Babbitt a martyr, her past tells a more complex story. County COVID testing sites full after NICE celebrations. The following headlines are from Defense Blog. Boeing nabs $471 for Japanese Super Interceptor program. Ukrainian new anti-tank missile gets direct hit on pro-Russian rebels. Israel confirms buying CH-53K helicopters and additional KC-46 tankers. Finland to replace Soviet-era SVD sniper rifles. China's Navy commissioned new 30,000-ton assault ship. This is the No Views, daily automated podcast news. Today, in the GMT time zone, is Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Now, more headlines. The next headlines are from KRON4 San Francisco. California twins born in different years, 15 minutes apart. Holmes jury says it's deadlocked on 3 of 11 criminal charges. 24-year-old man dies from shooting in San Francisco on New Year's Eve. COVID infections spiking in U.S. Capitol. San Jose man may have killed ex-girlfriend before leading police on chase with body in car. Hit and run driver killed pedestrian in San Jose, police. Half of Americans judge neighbors for keeping decorations up too long. Ex-CDC chief, COVID-19 surge will make it challenging for schools to stay open. Drones approaching U.S. troops in Iraq shot down. The next headlines are from the Daily Herald. Rangnick loses for first time after Wolves beat United 1-0. Titans can clinch AFC's number 1 seed with Henry's return near. Houston's offense sputters after early lead and loss to 49ers. Investigators narrow search for origin of Colorado wildfire. Bears nudge focused on ending year with win, not his future. Nudge, hope as Field starts versus Vikings, end season on a high note. Court upholds state's legislative redistricting plan. West Chicago District 33 converts to remote learning this week. FDA expands Pfizer boosters for more teens as Omicron surges. Illinois sets new COVID-19 hospitalization record. The following headlines are from Seattle PI. Famed Seattle spots, what they once were and what's there today. The next alerts are from the Global Disaster Alerting and Coordination System, a cooperative effort from disaster managers worldwide. Green earthquake alert, magnitude 6.2 m, depth 28.71 km, in China March 1, 2022, 9:46 UTC, 660,000 people within 100 kilometers. Green earthquake alert, magnitude 6 m, depth 104 km, in Vanuatu March 1, 2022, 2:09 UTC, about 1,000 people within 100 kilometers. Green forest fire alert in Cote d'Ivoire. Green forest fire alert in Nigeria. Green forest fire alert in Ghana. Drought is ongoing in Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. Green forest fire alert in Central African Republic. Green forest fire alert in China. Green forest fire alert in Chad. You are hearing the No Views, daily automated podcast news. Today is Monday, January 3rd in the Greenwich Mean Time zone. Headlines here were found today in news feeds from around the world, but we do focus on the USA, one of the world's current 195 countries. Now, more news. The next headlines are from ABC Houston. Grand Oaks HS student charged with felony murder in weekend crash that killed 18-year-old. Outspoken Texas Lieutenant Governor experiences mild symptoms before positive COVID test, officials say. Beto O'Rourke's blunt support of marijuana legalization gives advocates hope for policy change. Widespread frost expected tonight in southeast Texas. Donald Trump, Ivanka, Don Jr. subpoenaed by New York Attorney General. President Biden to meet with farmers as he seeks to cut meat prices. Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood suspended from Rockets game against 76ers, sources say. Rockets Kevin Porter Jr. lets tempers flare in the locker room. Clayton Echard begins his quest for love on The Bachelor. Art Rascon anchors newscast with son, Jacob, on final day at ABC 13. The following headlines are from China Post, top news about China, Taiwan and the world. New Hampshire Secretary of State since 1976 to retire soon. With another losing record, Falcons can start looking ahead. Senators Kraken becomes 92nd NHL game postponed this season. AP photos, storm wraps nation's capital in snowy blanket. Holmes jury deadlocked on 3 of 11 criminal charges. The following headlines are from The Gothamist. New York's independent redistricting process reaches gridlock. We are going to keep our schools open, Adams promises as COVID cases shatter records. Early edition, the show must go on for Broadway understudies amidst COVID outbreak. NYC must provide separate housing for trans people and homeless shelters under new settlement. City officials tell New Yorkers to prepare for a snowy Monday morning commute. Eric Adams spends his first weekend as NYC mayor promising law and order, without brutality. Beloved Puerto Rican chocolatier Cote opens ridiculously good restaurant in the Bronx. Polar Bear Club resumes New Year's Day Coney Island plunge. We hope you are enjoying this podcast. If you have a suggestion for a new RSS feed we should add, please leave it in a comment on our YouTube page. The next headlines are from globalissues.org. Once tossed and abused, human trafficking survivor finds solace. Special representative regrets resignation of Sudan's prime minister. Why does Yangtze River have its own protection law? From the field, picturing a thirsty earth. First person, the entrepreneur helping Middle Eastern women enter the digital economy. UN provides life-saving aid for refugees and migrants in Mexico, as numbers soar. The next headlines are from blacklistednews.com. Joe Rogan joins GETTR in anticipation of censorship on Twitter getting even dumber. Wall Street deal making tops $5.8 trillion in record year as Fed floods world with money. Inflation in Turkey explodes to 36.1%, blowing away estimates, as hyperinflation sets in. A brief exploration of COVID-induced mass psychosis. His skin was burning, Melbourne man sets himself on fire screaming about vaccine mandates. Fed drains $1.9 trillion in liquidity from market via overnight reverse repos. The Happiness Project, UN power broker Jeffrey Sachs took millions from the UAE to research well-being. The Wounded Knee Massacre, the forgotten history of the Native American gun confiscation. The shadowy Central Intelligence Agency data firms behind the creation of digital vaccine passport IDs. UAE bans unvaccinated citizens from leaving the country. The following headlines are from Snopes, a fact-checking service. Did an orangutan try to fight a bulldozer raising a forest? Pentagon Chief Austin says he has tested positive for COVID. Twitter banned Rep Green's personal account for COVID claims. Kraken mail enhancement scam features Clint Eastwood and Dr. Phil. Did Ted Cruz confuse Washington state with Western Australia in anti-Democrat tweet? Did WikiLeaks release faked moon landing footage? Officials, nearly 1K structures destroyed in Colorado fire. Snowstorms and pandemic ground flights, delay holidays end. We are now about 2/3 of the way through today's news headlines. When everything is working, this feed will auto-update 3 times per day. Join us daily to stay informed. The next headlines are from the Daily Beast. Is the answer to dementia actually in the air? Score BOGO on Sunday. Riley's cult favorite Good Genes serum for a limited time. Trump and his children refuse to be deposed in tax-dodging investigation. How a renegade gymnast strolled into North Korea like it was no big deal. Epstein's secret settlement with rape accuser Virginia Giuffre finally revealed. 2022's hottest new illness, Flurona. Inside the sick, murderous mind of the BTK killer. The most anticipated movies of 2022, featuring Scorsese, Fincher, Peele, Spielberg, and more. Election fraudsters vow to stab each other with the truth. The next headlines are from the New York Post. Philly sports mogul Michael Rubin and model Camille Fischel expecting second child. Los Angeles County reports nearly 45,000 new COVID cases over weekend. Stream it or skip it, The Year of the Everlasting Storm on Hulu, a collection of COVID-related shorts by international watchers. Ship arrives at port entirely caked in ice. The crucial question hanging over the four playmakers tasked with carrying giant offense. The following headlines are from astronomy.com. Sky this month. January 2022. Astronomer Amy Mainzer spent hours chatting with Leonardo DiCaprio for Netflix's Don't Look Up. You're tuned to the No Views, daily automated podcast news. If you are hearing this, you found something super unknown. Congratulations. Now back to the headlines. The next science headlines are from CBS News. 200-million-year-old dinosaur footprints discovered on beach. COVID-19 continues to disrupt holiday travel. World rings in the new year as Omicron cases surge. The following headlines are from alienUFOsightings.com. 9 things we learned about aliens in 2021. The following headlines are from military.com. Biden vows U.S. to act decisively if Russia invades Ukraine. Yemen rebel sees UAE ship, hackers hit Israeli newspaper. Seoul, North Korea defector likely made rare border crossing. Coalition, 2 armed drones shot down at Baghdad airport. Rally in Baghdad on anniversary of Iranian general's death. Korea, unidentified person crosses border into North Korea. U.S. Army pays tribute to Betty White's World War II volunteer service. The following headlines are from phys.org. Research, classroom observation scores for Tennessee teachers vary by race and gender. Accidental tree wound reveals novel symbiotic behavior by ants. Liquid metal experiment provides insight into the heating mechanism of the sun's corona. New research shows violence is broadly felt by millions of Californians. Women who love sports don't necessarily attend more games. Future hurricanes will roam over more of the earth, study predicts. Inefficient California ports cost farmers billions. Researchers develop a model of yeast nuclear pore complex. Emily is So 2000, research explores why popular baby names come and go. Thank you for listening and for staying informed. This audio was produced today, Monday, January 3rd, in the GMT time zone. The next headlines are from Discover magazine. The science of forming healthy habits. Brain scientists probe the mechanisms behind self-identity. Why do cats purr? The 10 best dog foods. Fungi are capturing more carbon than we thought. The next headlines are from the Seattle Times. Little time to rule as Carolina remapping trial begins. Destructive winds flip airplanes, trucks near Anchorage. Apple's market cap briefly tops $3 trillion after relentless rally. The end of the tunnel for Giants, 21 season finally ending. Surging Bengals await Browns while looking to playoffs. UNLV promotes interim AD Harper to full-time job. Kraken's home game Thursday postponed because of COVID-19 outbreak with Ottawa Senators. The following headlines are from mercurynews.com. Keanu Reeves donated 70% of Matrix earnings to cancer research, report says. Kurtenbach, we've already learned one thing about young Trey Lance, he's no Jimmy Garoppolo. San Francisco homicide, man shot near Presidio. King tides flood low-lying coastal regions in the Bay Area through Monday. 20 things we learned in Miami Dolphins 34-3 loss to Tennessee Titans. Port of Oakland plans more space to ease farm export space crunch. Warriors fill two-way slot with new but familiar face. Tesla opens showroom in China's Xinjiang region, which the U.S. has cited for genocide. As findings pile up, January 6th panel prepares to go public. No shortage of heartbreaking, horrific cases in Solano County's criminal courts. The next headlines are from the Washington Times. Mask mandate returns in Maryland state buildings. Biden Department of Justice announces new gun control rule. Trump plays kingmaker in Hungary with endorsement of Orban. Joe Rogan podcast comparing COVID-19 vaccine hype to Nazis is entered into congressional record. Settlement between Epstein, Prince Andrew accuser now public. Rand Paul says he's leaving big tech platforms, starting with YouTube. Trump, Ivanka, Don Jr. subpoenaed by NY Attorney General. Schumer threatens to blow up Senate filibuster if GOP continues to block partisan voting overhaul. Meat industry knocks Biden plan for federal spending to spur competition, lower beef prices. The next headlines are from The Intercept. Capitol rioter admits false statements to FBI, but prosecutors haven't charged him with a felony. Turntables, in presidential polls, Brazil's Lula leads judge who locked him up. This is No Views, daily automated podcast news. You are hearing headlines for Monday, January 3rd, 2022, now more. The next headlines are from the Chicago Sun-Times. Straddling the present and future, bears get neither right. Too old to shovel snow? If you're older, middle-aged, beware of heart attacks, doctors say. Record number of COVID-19 patients in Illinois hospital beds, straining healthcare system. Workers at a Loop Starbucks join push to unionize. McNudge, Justin Fields will start versus Vikings if healthy. College basketball top 25, Baylor runaway number 1 but not the favorite, plus, my ballot. Baylor, Duke keep hold of top 2 spots in AP top 25 men's poll. The next headlines are from the Times of India. China builds bridge across Pangong, helipads in its territory. Alchem Middle first woman to head ONGC. Pakistan reiterates SARC invite, India in no hurry. Lakhimpur charge sheet, Ashish Mishra was present at spot. Bully by case, 21-year-old engineering student arrested in Belarus. Over 40 lakh teens get first vaccine shot, Omicron drives Delhi spike, top developments. Second test, Indian middle order disappoints again. Surbhi Channa on BB15 in reunion with Manman Dutta. OnePlus 9 RT, OnePlus Buds Z2 India launch details. CAT 2021 result, 9 candidates score 100th percentile. You are hearing today's news headlines. These headlines are for Monday, January 3rd, 2022, now more. The next headlines are from the Houston Press. Opinion, Patton Oswalt hurts a lot of people when he defends his friendship with Dave Chappelle. Rockets Porter, would face different future after outbursts. NFL Week 17, 49ers 23, Texans 7. Preview, 2022 movies. Particular Brilliance, A.M. Elamine. Things to do, upcoming food and drink events in Houston this week. Houston singers you should keep an eye on in 2022. The next headlines are about world records making news. U.S. Speed Skating Olympic Trials Preview, How to Watch Team USA's Top Long Track Stars, NBC Olympics. Milwaukee is hosting an Olympic speed skating event, but fans cannot attend, Milwaukee Magazine. Praia do Norte, Portugal, home to the largest waves ever surfed, The Travel. Young scooter rider thought to be the world's youngest backflipper age 6, The Mirror. Who put this in the Bills' tunnel after their win, Photo, Work.com. U.S. schools delay openings as Omicron pushes pandemic to record highs, Reuters. Speed skater Brittany Bowe carrying confidence and gratitude into quest for Olympic gold, teamusa.org. The world just set a record for sending the most rockets into orbit, Ars Technica. World Record Initiative News Northeast Today. Three-time Olympic triple jump champion Viktor Saniev dies aged 76, NDTVsports.com. The next headlines are from Gizmodo. Comcast wants you to lease its Matter-ready Wi-Fi 6E router for your smart home hub. Happy Trek-iversary to Deep Space Nine. Greed propels a surreal battle in delightful animated short Bad Seeds. L'Oreal's Colorsonic is a home hair dye device to save you from DIY disaster. Doctor Who should get thrown for a loop more often. Acer's Chromebooks are pretty awesome and now there are 3 new ones. You've never seen Star Wars figures like this. This tiny wireless speaker uses MagSafe to piggyback on your iPhone. The perfect on-the-road travel charger delivers enough power for a laptop. Cobra Kai Season 4 burning questions answered by the creators. What place in the world had the hottest and coolest temperatures today? According to ElDoradoWeather.com, the hottest place on Earth in the past 24 hours was Birdsville Airport in Australia at 114.26 degrees Fahrenheit or 45.7 degrees Celsius. The coldest recorded weather temperature on Earth in the past 24 hours was Ekayachchayu in Russia at minus 66.64 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 54.8 degrees Celsius. The following headlines are from Ars Technica. AT&T Verizon reject plea for 5G delay, airlines threaten mass flight cancellations. Jury in Elizabeth Holmes trial deadlocked on 3 of 11 counts. NASA might just pull off the James Webb Space Telescope deployment. Samsung teases the Galaxy S22's AMD GPU as renders leak. FDA authorizes boosters for 12 to 15-year-olds, shortens interval for adults, updated. Square Enix signals major push into blockchain gaming mania. Twitter permanently suspends Marjorie Taylor Greene's account over COVID disinfo. Hyundai stops engine development and reassigns engineers to EVs. The world just set a record for sending the most rockets into orbit. Concept nixes Alienware's take on a household gaming server. The following headlines are from Raw Story. We are in trouble, Missouri Republicans fume after new map gives them only a projected 6-2 majority. Recipe for disaster, Capitol Police Union rejects plan to rely on private contractors. Needy Marjorie Taylor Greene bashed by her own followers after she begs to be let back on Twitter. A year after January 6 Capitol riot, a key purveyor of the big lie is heading to Missouri. Democrats need not despair, 6 reasons to be hopeful about the 2022 midterms. Republicans are very much in the minority but are fighting like hell to preserve their delusions. Ghislaine Maxwell got dumped over the phone in jail. Watch, Joe Biden braves Air Force One stairs despite blinding snow and wind. The sore loser effect, rejecting election results can destabilize democracy and drive terrorism. Former Facebook exec handing lawmakers a roadmap that will expose the tech giant's secrets. The next headlines are from Mother Jones. New York subpoenas Trump kids and probe of family business. They say they won't comply. Chuck Schumer just announced a major potential vote on the future of the filibuster. A key reason January 6th rioters aren't facing sedition charges, they're white. Desperate patients are shelling out thousands for a long COVID cure. Is it for real? 56 counties, cities, and states just raised their minimum wage. Liz Cheney calls Trump unfit for future office. Farewell to Marjorie Taylor Greene's toxic Twitter feed full of COVID lies. The next items are today's top search results for extraterrestrial life. The week of January 3rd, 2022, for your information, Science Policy News. The following items are today's top search results for the term neuroplasticity. Exercise can ease anxiety symptoms, study finds, today.com. Autism can be identified as early as baby's first year, Israel 21c. The next items are the top results for news about longevity and immortality. P. Blindebesound 205-803, blinded by sound. RCG Blindebesound 785, blinded by sound. Use Blindebesound DG, blinded by sound. S. Blindebesound 479-461, blinded by sound. We are nearing the end of this broadcast. This report is for Monday, January 3rd, 2022 in the GMT time zone. What cities are in that time zone? Well, Reykjavik, Iceland, for one. You might wonder if our server is in Reykjavik. It could be. The following is from the UFO Chronicles. UFOs UAP, tell the truth, say military veterans. That's it for now. Thanks for enjoying today's newsfeed headlines. This, indeed, has been a No Views, daily automated podcast newscast for Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Bookmark us and tune in each day to our free automated podcast to find out what's going on, around, and, sometimes, light years, beyond the Earth. Fair use statement. News.8 is a US-based educational not-for-profit news site. We use only parts of content, in transformative ways and without market usurpation. This means you are still going to want to read the original if you are interested in it beyond the headline and any comments we make. We provide links to original sources wherever possible. If you have any copyright concern, please contact us via our About page for immediate remedy. Contact us, Zeno at XENOMAILS 2021 by News.8. All rights reserved.